Hello everyone, welcome back to All You Need to Know. So, if you are new to my channel, I make content related to travel, software, and anything in general that could be helpful to you in your daily life. This video is a continuation of a series that I'm making on Schengen visa and Europe travel, and what needs to be done, what could be done before, during, and after your trip to Europe. This video specifically covers what documents you need to carry in your VFS Global appointment so that the chances of visa rejection are as minimal as possible and you can get your visa as quickly as possible. So let's get started.
Hey everyone, so let's get started. I will start with this document which you can see on my screen. This is the specific checklist for applying to Schengen visa through the Swiss embassy, but more or less most of the stuff would remain the same if you apply from any other embassy as well. You can get this link by going to the VFS Global website, and then after you click on apply for a visa, you can click on the visa type, which would open this visa information, and then you can click on the document request for tourist visa. Please click here. This will land you to this document, or you can follow this video to be more precise. Now, the first thing in our checklist for your VFS Global appointment is the valid national passport. This, as you would already know, this is the most important thing. The passport should be issued within the last 10 years, which is more or less the actual valid date generally for all the passports, after which it generally expires and you have to renew. And it should also have at least 3 months of validity after the scheduled return. So just note what they have written, it's after the scheduled return. So if you are planning to go after 2 months and then your trip, let's say, is for 1 month, then the validity should be at least of 6 months here, for this specific example, and you can do the math. So this basically is very important. So on a safer side, I would say at least you should have 6 to 8 months of validity on your passport. And there is one more condition here, with at least 2 blank pages. Blank pages basically mean there is no stamp or visas, immigration stamp on your passport, or any visa sticker on your passport for at least 2 pages. All the other pages could have it, but yeah, at least 2 blank pages are required for this. Now, there are other conditions such as handwritten passports and passport with observation regarding the front page cannot be accepted. This also you need to take care. There shouldn't be any handwritten things on your passport, or if there is any misinformation in the biodata or anything, they would not accept it. Second thing is 2 passport size photos. Now there is a common confusion regarding this. I also got confused when I was browsing the internet searching for what should be the photo color or the background color. I would suggest please strictly stick to what is written here. It should be white background, not beige or any other color mentioned on the internet. It should be white background, and the photo should not be older than 6 months. So as a good practice, it's always good to get a recent photo for applying to visa. The size is 35 to 40 mm in width, not copied or scanned. And the other related things are basically, your face should cover 70%, at least 70% of the photo, and your shoulders should be visible. And for other requirements, you can actually go and check this annexure that they have attached. So you would get the picture, and generally if you are taking the passport photo from a good studio, they would already know how to do it. So this contains detailed information. Please go through it of how your passport photo should be taken. Now coming back, so 2 passport size photos, One should be attached to the last page of the passport. Please note that don't use any glue or any tape for attaching it. That's a strict no-no. You should attach it with a pin, or you can staple it. Better to use a pin because a staple um, thing generally leaves a mark on wherever you are stapling it. So generally you can use a paper clip to attach the second picture on the last page of the passport. For the first picture, it should be attached on the application form. So I've covered how to fill the application form in my other video. I'll attach the video link in the description as well for this. Now moving on, the visa application form. As I mentioned, I've made a detailed video of how to fill the visa application form and what needs to be done there. So you can refer to that video. And for your documents, your visa application form should be filled completely with the attached photo and signed by you. So that's for visa application form. The other thing is, if you have any previous passports, then they should be bound together with rubber band with your current passport. Please be very careful with this. It should be bound by a rubber band. It should not be stapled. It should not be stuck together by a glue or something. It should be bound by a rubber band. Now the next thing is the personal cover letter. I would be making a separate video of how to prepare a cover letter, how to show your travel plan in the cover letter, and what needs to be included. For a family traveling together, you could have one cover letter. And one thing to notice, if there are 4 members that are traveling together, your visa application form would be separate, but some documents could be same. So the cover letter is one of those documents. The primary applicant in the family application could prepare the cover letter, and the others can just copy and attach it to their visa application. Now comes the introduction letter. This is also very important for all those people who are working somewhere or have a salaried job. So this document is basically a no objection certificate from your employer, which should clearly state that they have no objection for you to travel. The travel date should be mentioned clearly. The return date should be mentioned clearly, at what date you would be returning to work, and your designation, your name, and also should be there. Some additional things or optional things, I would say, could be, they could mention your salary, or any other proof that you basically work there is acceptable. Salary information is generally, I would say, it is okay if you have a decent salary to show, and it may increase your chance for getting the visa, so that it confirms that you have the funds or you are earning a good salary for traveling to Europe. So in the introduction letter as well, there are certain things that you need to take care. One is, it should be on the business letterhead of the company. If not the letterhead, at least it should be stamped and signed by the HR or the directorate or whoever is higher up on the chain of commands for you, mentioning the position and duration of service, which we already covered. In my case, it was not on the letterhead. I mean, it was kind of a letterhead, but it was not very official, I would say. But still, the stamp was there for the company, and the signature of the HR manager was there. Now the third point is, the no objection statement should be there, which I already mentioned, and the travel dates and the purpose of trip should be mentioned. The purpose of trip, you could just mention that it's for tourism in the introduction letter. Now the next thing is travel insurance. This is again an important thing. Travel insurance should be there. in your travel documents. I've seen many people, they don't prepare this document, they go to VFS Global and then they have issues. So by the way, VFS Global also has desk separately to get your travel insurance then and there as well. But generally, I think they are more costly. I would suggest you to get the travel insurance and basically um, don't go into that hassle of getting that the last minute. So travel insurance, in my case, I got it from Care Travel Insurance. It's a decent insurance. It's the premium is low, and also it gives you the minimum coverage that is mentioned here, which is of 30,000 euros or 50,000 USD or 50,000 CHF per person. Um, Per person, yes. So one thing to notice, like if you are traveling um, as a group, it should be per person. So if there are 4 people, either you can get a separate travel insurance for all of them covering this minimum amount, or if it's a family insurance or a group insurance, it should be of at least um, the number of people times the minimum coverage that is required. So, and the insurance has to cover the entire stay. Just to be on the safer side, you could get the insurance of the dates one day before your departure date and one day after your arrival date, so that including the additional days, you're just like making sure that it covers the entire trip even after you land or even before you depart. Um, So this is mostly it. There's a clause here, if you are applying for 6 months or 1 year multiple visa, not obliged to provide a 180-day cover. It is sufficient to submit an insurance policy covering the first journey. So this is, I think, self-explanatory. It gives you the basically the option that if you're applying for a long-term visa, then obviously, like if you get a travel insurance for 6 months, that would be costly and it would not make sense. So that's what they have mentioned, that any insurance policy covering the first journey is also enough. Now the next important thing is flight reservations. Now in terms of flight reservations, I've seen many people talking about getting the actual tickets, but I would not suggest that, mainly because getting the actual ticket is costly and it could land you into trouble, mainly because if you somehow don't get a visa, then cancellation fees and generally rescheduling charges are huge. So in my case, I did it from a, a website which provides you dummy flight reservations, and the best part is they are verifiable. You can actually enter the PNR of your ticket on the reservation on the airline site, and you can actually obtain the travel ticket on that PNR. So it's verifiable ticket. There's nothing wrong in doing that, and I would strongly suggest you guys to get a dummy ticket through the website. I would attach the link of that website in the description of this video. So as it mentions, the flight reservation should have names of all the travelers. This is very important. And if you're taking flights within the Schengen region, for example, let's say if you're traveling from Switzerland to Italy through a flight, then those itineraries or car rentals or whatever you're taking internally should also be documented and presented as a proof of document. Now the second is proof of accommodation. Again, you don't need to get actual non-cancelable tickets. You can easily get cancelable tickets from booking.com, or in my case I used Agoda because Agoda had better and cheaper options for accommodation, and also the cancellation dates were like they were giving me a lot of bandwidth into the future. So I would suggest maybe you can check out Agoda. This is not sponsored, but yeah, I found Agoda to be good, and the prices that Agoda offers are generally good. So you can get a cancelable accommodation for your travel for all your dates, and then you would get a confirmation from the travel website, and you can show that as proof of accommodation. Now comes the next part, which is proof of financial status. Again, this is very important. What it should contain is basically all the documents, as it mentions, all the documents should be in A4 format. So if you are employed, then last 3 months salary slips, 3 months salary bank account statements, and ITR for the last 2 years should be there. So in my case, I carried 6 months salary slips and 6 months bank account statements. So for the salary slips, the VFS Global employee, she just basically gave me the extra 3 months salary slips back, the copy of it, and just took the salary slips for 3 months only. So you don't need to carry more documents or more salary slips. Just the last 3 months salary slips are enough, and last 3 months salary bank account statements are enough. Personal ITR of 2 years, as it says, strictly stick to this, and that is what is accepted. Now, if self-employed or company owner, you can read through it. Business registration certificate is important, or any of these documents would be valid. Again, last 3 months personal and bank account statements is required. So it would be good if you can actually show consistent influx of money in your account and not abrupt. So what I mean is, it should not happen that just 1 month before your VFS Global appointment, you suddenly transfer 10 lakh rupees in your account, and then there is no traceability of that money. So it's always better that you have a regular flow of income in your account, which you can show, which would be reflected in your bank account statement as well as the ITR form as well. So that is always encouraged, and that would highly increase your chances of not getting rejected. And again, the last part is the company's personal ITR of 2 years. And if you are retired, personal pension bank statement for last 3 months, or proof of regular income generated by ownership of property or business. If second point is not valid, then the first should be there, or both. If you are a student, then the legal guardians bank statement for last 3 months, and the ITR form for the last 2 assessment years, and copy of their passports for the legal guardians. For families traveling together, the visa application have to be submitted together, and only the head of the family should have can attest these documents. So personal ITR of the head of the family or the primary visa applicant for the family, the bank statements of that person, and if salaried, then the salary slips of that person is enough. In my case, me and my wife both showed the salary slips, the ITR, and everything together, mainly because the higher the funds that you can show, it's always good, which increases the chances of visa. And since she was also salaried, so it also gives that confidence to the visa agent or the visa person, the embassy, to trust you that you would return and to continue your service in India. So yeah, if you can, then you can show the financial documents of the other family members as well. Then this is important. Many people, what they do is they go to the Schengen area, then they realize that okay, maybe I want to travel to any other country not in the Schengen region. So this could make or break your application. Basically, you need to obtain the visa of that country first and attest it with your documents before you can apply to this Schengen visa, mainly because then they would require the travel plans into that country and what you would be doing there as well, and that should also be covered in your personal cover letter. If you go down, then you would see that students, the clear photocopies of valid UK, US, and Canadian visa should be there. So basically, if this means that if you have a visa um, of UK, US, or Canadian visa, then it's always good to attest it, especially the US visa, which builds some trust into the person who is evaluating your visa application, that okay, you have gone through that visa process of US, which generally is very strict. So most of your credentials would be authentic. So in my case, I had a valid B1 B2 visa for the US for 10 years, and I attested the photocopy of that along with my documents. And for the passport, photocopy of the first and the last page. Students above 16-year-old, copy of the student college ID and introduction letter from the university where they are going or where they are studying should be there. Children under 18 years old not traveling with both their parents, again, like consent letter from the legal guardian is a must, certified by public notary. So just make sure that you are fulfilling these conditions. Children under 18 years old traveling alone, then the consent letter of, again, like the same thing, both parents or legal guardian, certified by public notary. And in all the cases, the copy of passport, PAN card, and driving license of the legal guardians is a must. So one more important thing is, if your visa has been refused in the past, then it is a must to attest the refusal note along with this application as well, which gives them the record of what happened in the past and why was your visa rejected. Then ultimately the visa fees receipt that you paid, that you would be paying before obtaining the visa appointment, that should be attached with all your documents. And this is just a note that only the documents mentioned in the checklist are accepted, which is very true. They just accept those documents. The required documents have to be submitted with the visa application form, which is again self-explanatory, and the Embassy of Sweden reserves to write and ask for additional documents. So it's always good that you take additional documents with you. In my case, I took one more letter from my company, so in my company, since it's a startup, the payroll is managed by a third party, and the payroll slips are generally on the third party's name. So I took one more letter from my HR stating that this is the payroll partner, and that's why in my payroll slips you would see that the company name is different, which is basically the payroll partner's name, but it ultimately ties back to my parent company. So guys, just make sure that all the information is coherent, and whatever you feel could come in the minds of the visa officer should be there along with your other documents, and they would be accepted. So yeah, that's mostly it about this video. And once you are able to gather all these documents, I'm pretty sure you don't need any other documents or any other thing to get your visa approved. I hope this video was useful. Since this is a new channel, I would encourage you guys to like, comment, and subscribe on my videos. This highly encourages me to create more videos and help you guys for all your travel and other information related needs. Thank you so much.